why labels like gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual are important. Hi guys, my name is Christine Loveridge and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about why labels like lesbian, bisexual, gay, straight, transgender, and all of those labels, why those labels are important. So recently I had quite an interesting discussion with someone on one of my videos. I'll link to that video in the description so you can read this conversation yourself. And basically what this person was trying to convince me, I guess you could say, is that there's no scientific proof that someone is 100% lesbians, and basically we as human beings are all in this grey area and we all are capable of being bisexual, even though they didn't really like using the word bisexual. They seem to have quite a bit of a problem with labels. Now I don't like that we have to use labels for things. It would be nice, especially when it comes to someone's sexual orientation, it would be really nice if we could all just, be who we are and just let it be that. If we could just live our lives without having to say, oh, I'm lesbian, or I'm bisexual, or I'm straight. It'd be great if we didn't have to do that kind of thing. And I would love it if we lived in that kind of world where we didn't have to do that. But unfortunately, we live in a very complex world with people with, many different beliefs, many different judgments. And as human beings, we are very complex creatures. So it's very important that we have a language that can describe our human experiences. So in this video that I made, it was basically saying that straight women can't fall in love with lesbians. And the reason why I believe that is because if someone is straight, then they can't have an emotional connection to someone who is of the same gender. If they did, that would mean that they are bisexual. And that was basically my claim in that video. And I make the same claim as in a straight woman can't make a gay man fall in love with her, or a man can't make a lesbian fall in love with him. It's impossible unless that person is bisexual. However, that doesn't mean that you can't experiment with them, but ultimately you will never own their heart. So the person that I was talking to was very scientific, very scientifically minded, which is, fair enough. And basically their claim was that there is no scientific evidence that someone can be 100% lesbian, which I denied and said I don't think that's true because I believe that I am 100% lesbian. I believe that I cannot fall in love with a man. And that has been my experience for 29 years. However, just because there is no scientific evidence that this is true, doesn't mean that it's not true. So for example, human beings, we dream, right? We have dreams, we have visions when we are asleep. But the only reason we know that's true isn't based on science. The only reason we know that's true is because we talk about it and we discuss it. That's something that me and my partner do. Like when we wake up, we talk about what dreams we had. I don't think there's been some way to plug in some wires into someone's brain and to be able to see what they see when they dream. Now, we obviously know that we fall asleep, but the evidence that we dream is all based on hearsay, but it's still a fact. We still believe it as a fact because it's a common human experience. Even though there is no scientific evidence, there's no way to x-ray our brains and see what someone is dreaming. And me saying to this person that I know I'm 100% lesbian just wasn't enough scientific evidence for them. Having an actual person wasn't enough evidence. Talking to someone who is like that wasn't enough evidence for them, which is fine. This is their philosophy and that's what they believe. So that leads me into why I believe labels like lesbian, gay, straight, trans, all of those labels are really important. And the reason why they're important is because they create boundaries. Okay, so if everything was all open to interpretation, so let's say there was no labels for anything, we just were, right? We just are as human beings. We're attracted to whoever we are attracted to and all that. But basically what that means is people can then make the argument for, let's say, a lesbian. They could say, you just haven't met the right man yet, right? Because that's what basically this leads to. And it's a very dangerous thing to lead to, because if people believe that everyone, let's say, is bisexual, even though you might not want to use that label, but everyone can fall in love with anyone. If you blur those lines, then people will think they can get away with anything. And it's the same for like a gay man. A woman can come up to a gay man and say, oh, I'm the right woman for you, you just haven't met the right woman yet. And if you say to a gay person, you can fall in love with the opposite sex, you just haven't met the right person, then that's extremely offensive to someone that is gay. If someone came up to me and said, you just haven't met the right man yet, I would feel really awkward and horrible. And I would also feel this person doesn't respect who I am and my own experience as a human being. It would be nice if we could just be who we are and not have to put a label on it, but that is the land of fairy tales, okay? And not everyone is a nice person, a nice understanding person who lets people be who they are. That is just not the world that we live in. And I doubt it'll be a world that we will ever live in, because there are many different cultures, there are many different countries who have different beliefs. We're all brought up on different values. Even in the same country, two people can grow up with different values. We're a complex human race, so it's very important that we have these labels to describe who we are, so we can, put that barrier up when someone, let's say, is coming on to you, oh, sorry, I'm not interested, I'm a lesbian, or I'm a gay man, like I'm not interested in women or something. And I do believe if we didn't have these boundaries, if we didn't have these labels to describe ourselves, if that language just kind of disappeared, I do believe it could actually end up being very dangerous to people that are transgendered, that are gay, that are lesbian, and bisexual people as well. And what seemed to be like the big issue was the fact that I had said that if a supposedly straight woman does end up falling in love with a lesbian, it means that they are bisexual. And this person seemed to have a bit of trouble accepting bisexuality from what it looked like, because there's nothing wrong with being bisexual, and being bisexual is actually really interesting, because some people can be, I guess you could say it could be being bisexual could be like a spectrum in a way, because it's very unlikely that someone is 50-50 bisexual, like their experience is 50-50, is 50% I'm attracted to men, 50% I'm attracted to women, but it's more like a spectrum. Like someone could be mostly attracted to men or mostly attracted to women or whatever. But if you are capable of falling in love with both sexes, it means that you are in fact bisexual, and there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. I don't know why this person thought there could be something wrong with that, okay? And I think they probably thought it was to do with the labels, and they didn't really like the labels. They said quite often that it was labels are a social construct, which, is fine. You can believe and have that philosophy if you want to, but I do think they're important. They're a very good use. Having labels has their use, and I do think it's very important that we have them, because it creates boundaries, and we need to have boundaries, because if we don't have boundaries, it leaves that person in a vulnerable position. I can say with 100% certainty that I am 100% lesbian, and I don't need scientific proof for that fact, because I have lived the experience and I know myself. As the Bible says, know thyself. And no one can know me, and no one can know you like yourself. And if you think that you are a lesbian, or if you think you're straight, then that is your experience, and don't let anyone ever waver you from your own convictions about yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Don't be afraid to have those labels and to use those labels when needed to. Now, you don't have to go and confess to the world, I'm a lesbian, or I'm straight, or I'm gay, or I'm bi. You don't have to go and profess these things. But when the opportunity arises, when the occasion occurs, when, let's say, someone is coming on to you and you're not interested in them because you're interested in a different sex, you can say to them, sorry, I'm not interested because I'm a lesbian. Or you could just say, sorry, I'm not interested. It doesn't matter. But if you want to have that firm, concrete boundary, then it's good to say something like, sorry, I'm not interested because I'm gay. And it's fine. It's fine to have these labels. It's okay to use them within the right context. You do not need scientific evidence. Your human experience is enough. Just like we can't scientifically see other people's dreams, you scientifically cannot see someone's sexual orientation. It's impossible. It's to do with the soul and that person's feelings. If you have any comments or any thoughts about this yourself, if you don't agree with me, then leave a comment down below. If you do agree with me, leave a comment down below. If you want, you can go and check, and like I said, you can go and check out that video where that person made those comments to me, and you can read it for yourself and come up with your own conclusions. Please let me know what you think, because I think this is such an important discussion, especially in this day and age where these kinds of things are now being debated and questioned. So I think it's very important and very healthy that we have this discussion. Thank you so much. Thank you also so much to the person who made those comments, because I do think it was a really interesting conversation. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you guys again very soon. Goodbye, guys.